Conclusion, Dina.
2 minutes. All right, a minute remaining. All right. Thank you for your effort. So, if you haven't finished, you'll find time to finish. Yeah, but what we want now, what we want to use the remaining minutes is to so I just want everyone to be very attentive. Okay? You remain in the same groups, but I want you to be very attentive. Okay? Because what I'm going to be saying is very important, and actually it will help you as you are advancing with other courses as well. So, we were discussing about interviews and types of interviews in our small groups, and that remains a priority for us to do. There are several reasons why we are talking about interviews, or why this subject of interviews was placed in your course. An interview is one of the critical parts in hiring new human resources in organizations, in businesses, or in companies as well. So as some of you are going to be administrators, some of you are going to work, and you might have this opportunity to be maybe the head of department in whatever organization or whatever workplace you are going to find yourself in. You might find yourself in interviews process or in an interview process, either as someone who is going to participate in the panel interviews, in group discussions, or you are having in personal interviews. These are some of the examples or types of interviews that you are discussing in your small groups. And yeah, so you might be part of that kind of interview process. So what is it that we need to understand concerning interviews? So as I said, an interview is a critical process in terms of hiring effective and productive human resource. Once you miss the interviews, you might find yourself hiring people who are not going to benefit either your business, either your project, either your organization or company or workplace in general. Imagine you have a shop, okay? And this shop receives a lot of customers, and you need someone who can really handle customers properly. You cannot just go in straight and pick someone. Oh, come and work at my shop. Okay? Probably you are going to conduct an interview, either simple or complex, but it will be what? An interview. So the kind of questions, the way you have prepared the interview is going to affect the outcome of your hiring process. You might realize later that I think I made a mistake. Why did you make a mistake? How you observed, how you collected information about a particular human resource in your business or in your project. So that's the first context that you are going to find yourself in. The second context is either you being an interviewee. We remember one interviewee is someone who receives questions from an employer or an interviewer. So you might also find yourself in that context. So what are some of the things that we need to take care, to know, to understand? But mostly the form of context, or the context that we are focusing is where you are going to be interviewing people, because that's one of the functions that you are going to be doing. So I have explained the context that you are going to find yourself in during your work experience. So an interview, as it was stated, is a conversation, a complex conversation, a formal conversation where one or a group of people in form of panel judges ask you questions, and then, or not you, I mean someone asks someone questions, and this person or a group of people answer the questions. But it's not just, okay, let's ask each other questions, because as it stands, someone could just decide, okay, after this class, I want to ask you questions. And then you'll be asking each other questions. Oh, Gerard, what is a banana? No, banana is a fruit. Okay, what is an apple? Apple is what one? You see? That's not an interview, because an interview has a purpose. Has a business what? Purpose. We're not talking about journalism interviews. We are talking about business interviews. A business interview has a purpose. So the purpose might differ according to the organization. One could be you are just looking for someone who has experience or capability, or you want to understand the values of someone, because some organizations works under values. It's either about human rights or environmental. How do you think? What are your values concerning environmental health? So in that context, the purpose of the interview is to determine or to understand the values of what this a candidate. A candidate is someone who has the potential to get a job from the company. It's called a candidate. Eh? So you have a lot of potential candidates, but you want to understand their values. So you choose the one that we think aligns to your organization values. If you say, this one, I think the way he thinks or she thinks aligns with our organization, I think let's employ this one. In terms of capabilities, they will say, okay, we want someone who has experience. But then the kind of questions that you ask are not about, okay, have you ever driven a car? Yes, I have driven a car some time back. See? Or I'm, driving a car right now. It's not about that. How do you drive? So it's about capability. You want to assess a capability in someone to see if this person will match to work in that particular kind of job that you are offering. So that's an interview. So we have to understand it. But then the problem of interview is that either you are the interviewer or interviewing, you need some skills. And it's not just about, okay, I'll be interviewing people or I will participate as a candidate. You need to cultivate some skills that will help you to engage in a successful interview. One of it is the ability to speak. That's why there are many courses that are just targeting, helping you guys to become good speakers. Not like you'll be just talking everywhere, but someone who can speak things with clarity. Some of you are going to get a job not because of your qualification. Your qualification is highest, but maybe because of how you are able to express things. Some of you are going actually to lose a job just because you are failing to express yourself clearly. So, one, you have to understand the purpose of the interview. You need to have skills. Being able to speak. You don't need to be very shy. You have to be open. Okay? Be able to talk. People should distinguish someone who hasn't gone to school with someone who has gone to school. So you have to have that capacity to speak clearly, but also understand the questions. Because sometimes you might even ask wrong questions to the interviewer, or if you are an interviewee, you might answer a different question that was not asked. It's one of the problems that I was also highlighting last week. That some of us, we failed the exams not because we are ignorant or what. No, everyone has his own level of doing things, but it's just the case of understanding the questions. Including that is to check our non-verbal or body language. That's one of the problems. You are sitting with the boss, is interviewing you, but you are busy pointing to the point of pointing the nose of the boss. See? So you have to observe, because some of the body languages express some unintended messages. It's either some of the body language could show rudeness, challenge, or disobedience, or lack of respect, you see, or dissatisfaction. For example, you are being asked, okay, how much do you want us to be giving you in this company? And then you say, no, just give me 300,000. Okay, we'll be managing to give you 200,000. And then the way your eyes will interact, the eyeballs, the way they are going to roll, how the face will, shine or dim, will actually indicate to the company that this guy is not interested. You might end up that all these other things you have said properly, but the problem is how you are using your body language. So that's also another problem. But it might be that they are just testing you. Maybe their salary is 500,000. They're just testing you, and then you say if you accept, yes, so it's okay. They say, we are just joking. Be giving you 500,000. But don't also be very joyful, like, yeah, I know, you jump in one, they say, okay. So these are some of the things. But also in terms of body language, either you are the interviewer or interview, the position, how you are sitting. Some way of sitting shows confidence. Some way of sitting shows that this person is not confident enough. And these are the things that I cannot teach. And no one is going to teach you, like, okay, sit like this. No. We know how do we need to sit if you want to show either respect or confidence. Am I lying? You are old enough. We know. It's not like, okay, let's try, let's imitate. No. But you can also plug at this with your friends. Sit down and, plug at this together. Okay, am I sitting like a confident person? Say, no. Am I sitting in a respectful way? No. I'm respecting, like resistance. Am I showing resistance? Because sometimes the way we sit also shows resistance, arrogance. And now the issue of dressing, either you are the interviewer or interviewee, has an effect. That's why most of people, your brothers and sisters, cousins and nieces, nephews, you are going to see them wearing decent that day only. The rest of the days they start working, they don't actually wear like that. It's because it's just to impress someone. Okay, people post jackets, suits, pointers. They will shine their hair, a nice haircut, whatever, just to impress someone. I have attended some interviews where you find people have really dressed more than the way the boss has dressed. But the problem is also how now apart from just dressing, there are other people who are not going to mind how you have dressed. If you have just dressed okay, it's fine. Not like putting all the ties and whatever, but you are able to show the capabilities. Oh, how are you? Don't worry about, okay, let me borrow a jacket, let me borrow a tie, let me borrow one, whatever. But what you are going to be saying there is useless things, nonsense things. Okay, but then it of course it adds some value. I don't want to give you examples like, okay, this is not the kind of dressing that you have to do when you are going participating for interviews. You know those things. Are we clear about it? Okay, so for the types of interviews, in-person interview or one-to-one, it's about me as an interviewer sitting with Richard as interviewing. I have a set of questions because they are not going interviews without what? Questions. You see them having a paper behind it or beside them. So they use that paper. There are some questions, paper-safe questions. So they will be bombarding the questions. What is the problem of interviews? The questions are different with the questions that we can imagine. So you have to be creative. Either you are the ones who are going to be doing interviews, you have to try on your own. Okay, how can I ask, for example, I want to hire someone to be working as, let's say, a nutrition officer at my school, for example. Or I want to hire someone to be working as accountant. Accountant, accounting, someone who's going to be accounting, doing, calculating things, what are some of the questions that would get me best results? You see? And then we'll be asking that one in person. I'll be asking, okay, what is this? What is ABCD? And then you'll be answering me. Now there's panel interviews where there'll be judges, and then you'll be the other side. They'll be asking you questions, and then you'll be answering them. They'll be noticing, writing down and being impressed by how you are speaking. Either you'll be part of the judges, the same thing. You'll be asking the questions, you'll be noticing how this person is answering the questions and making observations and being impressed or not impressed. And then they make votes. Who should we take? If you have, if there are 5 of them, you get 3, it means you have been employed. If you get 2, then you have been denied. Okay? Yeah. So if someone asks you today to do interviews or to engage yourself in an interview, can you manage? You are not then. To gain some of these skills, it requires rigorous work. It's not about classroom. I'm telling you. What I'm saying here is much of the field. But if you watch some videos, how people interview, some interviews that were taking place, you watch, you ask people what happens, and then you plug at this yourself, you become good at it. But if you say, I didn't learn much about interviews, what should I learn? Should I sample interviews? Should I say, okay, come this day, I will have interviews? But no. For what purpose? Am I hiring you? No. So it's better for you guys to be doing some of these things by your own end. Try to plug at this thing. Try to use different sources of information. The 7 minutes we are remaining with is, I just want to clarify on the issue of meetings. Because in many of the organizations, they do meetings, Yeah, so you'll be part of the meetings. Once you are hired, you'll be part of what? The meetings. So you might find yourself, can you document this meeting? So it's what we call meeting documentation. To document is to keep notes for the meeting. Okay? To keep notes is different from note taking or summary. So you only highlight important things that we are saying. For example, they would maybe say they were discussing, and then they have said, okay, I think we have to buy 2 extra buses for the company because our workers are finding it hard to come to work because of transport issues. So then you write that. If it is a main point, you don't record everything that has been said. If you have been asked to be the secretary or whatever, to record the notes, you see, the meeting. So most of people, they call them meeting notes or minutes, meeting minutes. Minutes are very famous. Yeah, I'm taking some minutes. And then, how can you take minutes? But hours are very simple for you to take. Yeah, so minutes is what was said. I have shared with you like a sample of some minutes. But then to make you also be comfortable or to understand much about minutes and other things that we'll be studying in the next weeks, there'll be I'll be inviting other people just to describe, for example, share the experience, like someone whom I know that usually takes minutes in meetings will come and share with you an experience, even show sample of minutes that she or he has been taking. So starting from next week, I'll be inviting some other people to come and just share with you examples so that you understand things, you get inspired. When you go there, you can remember the experience that you got from class. Similarly, about emails, someone will come and show you these are the functions of emails and this is what happens, showing you the practical things as well. I can tell you everything, but the problem is we need to have inclusive knowledge. if some people come, you might remember very well than if I say the same thing. Okay? Yeah. So that is the sample of the meeting minutes that you can do. So if you are going to be working somewhere and they have asked you, okay, can you, so you have to record the minutes and then share later. That is one of the samples that you can use. But also, of course, you can have other samples from other people or from other sources of. So as I said, this second half of the semester, it's one of the most busiest, and I should say maybe even the exams will not be much worse than what we'll be doing the practicals every week. So if you are saying, okay, I might not go there or I might not miss these things, you might find yourself in a very challenging. So if you come in class, study, do together and the things, and I think I'm not even giving you an assignment because there are more exercises to do. So I'm not giving you any assignment. Like the main assignment, it will be just some practical issues for you to do. So if you miss those things, then yeah, the results for the assignment, first assignment and the mid semester. So if you fail again these things, and then it means you are giving you a hard problem, eh? But also don't do the practicals because you want to perform exams. Because there might be some people who might not perform well in exams, but they are able to do the practicals, and maybe in future time we find them becoming important citizens just because they learn something in class. So should be able to do presentations. Should be able to use an email. Okay, yeah. So please collect the. I want you guys to write down the names of people in your respective groups. As I'm bringing some attendance sheets for you to sign.